Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Hey guys, this is Nate with SixPackShortcuts.com, here to tell you about this massive arm gaining workout that you can incorporate into your program to get you thicker, denser, and also fuller body parts as far as your biceps and your triceps. But first I want to tell you a little about myself. My name is Nate Brand. I'm out of Houston, Texas. Just started my own personal training company, and my mission here is to basically inform you guys on how to effectively incorporate exercises without injuring yourself. And I'm also going to educate you all as far as terminology. So what we want to do, guys, is I want you to start off by saying this in the very beginning of the morning. Look at yourself in the mirror, pose your guns, and tell yourself you're a badass, okay? You have to give yourself positive affirmations every day, at least twice a day, in my opinion, to make yourself positive and get confidence in your body, okay? So my mission, again, is to help you guys out as much as we can and help you out and get to the body that you've always desired, okay? All right, guys, on to the workout. Now, I want to first and foremost explain what a negative is, okay? Because a lot of us don't know what this is. You have to understand in a range of motion, you have three ranges, okay? You have your positive, isometric, and negative, okay? And I'll demonstrate right here, okay? On a bicep curl, for example, the concentric or positive motion is on the way up. That's always when you're shortening the muscle, okay? Isometric is when the muscle is simply not doing anything, but it's holding the weight, stabilizing in itself, which is a very important movement to incorporate as well. And the negative portion is always on the way down. Not always on the way down on contrary belief, but it's always on the lengthening of the muscle. So sometimes it's actually on the way up. So we're gonna go over these 4 basic movements that'll help you get those gains that we were talking about earlier. Number 1 is gonna be standing bicep barbell curl, okay? Number 2 is gonna be tricep dips. Number 3 is gonna be concentrated curls. And number 4 is gonna be rope pushdowns. And again, we're focusing on the negative. What's the negative, guys? It's pretty much the elongation part of your muscle. So let's go back to the workout. I'll show you some stuff and add this to your program. All right, guys, so now for the first exercise, standing barbell curl, okay? What you have in my hand, though, is not a barbell, it's my phone. As you notice, I'm not Twittering, I'm not Facebooking, I'm not Instagramming. Not at the moment right now, right? Or am I? Just joking. But what is you can see on the screen, it's a clock. You have to understand, you have to measure your rest periods in between your sets, okay? How long should you rest? Well, it all depends on the goal you want. If you're trying to build solid mass and foundation, I'd recommend resting about 45 seconds to a minute. Reason being is because as you do a set, your ATP, which is your energy in your body, decreases. But as you rest, it actually goes up. And it takes about 45 to 60 seconds to do that. So remember that, guys. If you're not measuring your time in between your sets, you're cutting yourself short. And I always tell myself and my clients as well, if you can get maximal gains by doing little things like that, why not do it? It's almost like getting paid a bonus for showing up to work on time. You're doing it already, you might as well take advantage of it, okay? So, one thing I want to focus on, guys, too, is hand placement. You see a lot of times guys and girls in the gyms, they're constantly have their hands wide or they're too narrow. On a bicep curl, you want to stay as natural as possible. So wherever your hands fall by your sides, that's where you want to keep your hands, okay? That can also prevent injury on the bicep tendon. A good habit to have too, and I want to share some terminology with you guys, you have supination and pronation. The bicep itself actually supinates your arm, and I always like to consider supinate as a bowl of soup, as I'm pouring myself some soup in there. That's a great way to remember, guys. Pronation is just pretty much the opposite. So in order to get the maximal peak on your bicep, I'd recommend supinating your arms as much as possible. A little tidbit I like to tell my clients as well as myself in my head, and I swear to goodness I'm not crazy, but I like to try to supinate my pinkies as much as possible to get that peak going on my bicep. So we're gonna talk about negatives. Now remember what we talked about, guys. Negatives is what? The elongation part of the muscle. And we're gonna do that for 4 seconds. When we incorporate a long negative in there, not only does it increase the time under tension, but it also tears those muscle fibers even longer. You have to understand, guys, the elongation portion of your muscle, aka negative, that is where you get the most muscle recruitment. Most individuals, they skip this part and they simply just go to the positive and they just let it fall. Not only can you hurt yourself doing that, but you're cutting yourself short. And remember, we don't want to cut anything short, okay? Except the fresh fade, that is. Stay fresh, guys. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the first set of 10 of barbell curls, okay? So again, I'm gonna place my hands naturally where they fall. Everyone's different, guys, okay? So if you're wider or thinner than the other, it's totally cool. And what I'm gonna do is keep my core nice and tight. Anytime your core is tight, guys, you're gonna protect your spine and also help you prevent injury. And so what I'm gonna do is curl it up. On the way down, I'm gonna come down for 4 seconds, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm gonna bring it back up. Make sure there's not a bench in your way, guys, or make sure there's no one else in the way, or else we'll pop them in the head, okay? 2, 3, and 2. Come up. 1, 2, 3, and 3. Up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Up. 1, 2, 3, and 5. Notice how I'm counting, guys, out loud, but the last number is the actual rep that I'm on. It's going to help you not only sound crazy when you're counting out loud, just kidding, you're not, but it's going to help you keep count. That way you don't lose count. 2, 3, and 8. I may have miscounted, guys, I apologize, but we're going to knock one out extra just in case. 2, 3, and 9. One more. Come down nice and slow, guys. Keep the core tight. Make sure you're breathing. Speaking of breathing, you always want to exhale when you're exerting energy. It's not always on the way up or on the way down, but it's when you're exerting energy. So, with a lot of my female clients, what I tell them, if they have kids, when you were giving birth, what did the doctor tell you to do? They told you to push. They told you to breathe. That's what you need to do. Obviously, I'm not comparing barbell curls to giving birth, so no offense, ladies, but it's a good habit to have. And you guys out there, thank goodness we don't have to go through that issue, okay? All right, guys, now we want to look at our phone after our set, and I'm going to measure 60 seconds, okay? Now, mind you, right now, I have a goal of building massive gains in my arms, and so that's why I'm going to rest for 60 seconds, okay? Now, I'm not going to wait till 60 seconds appears on the clock and then I'm going to go. I'll probably get started and situated at about the 55-second marker. That way you have 60 seconds on the dot to get started, okay? Mind you, guys, there's always different things you can do. So if you're trying to lose body fat or get ripped, per se, you can do something called an active recovery. That simply means you'll do something completely opposite of what you're currently doing to keep your heart rate going. Examples could be jumping jacks, they could be mountain climbers, they could be a plank to get the core involved, anything at all. But we want to make sure in this active recovery we're not using anything with the biceps, because that would then be called a superset, and we're not focusing on supersets. Superset is basically 2 exercises back to back that are consisting of the same muscle group, okay? So here we go, we're at the 55-second marker. I'm going to get ready, yell out a big gulp, and then here we go. Up, 1, 2, 3, and 1. 1, 2, 3, and 2. 1, 2, 3, and 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Keep the core tight, guys. 2, 3, and 5. 1, 2, 3, and 6. Hope you like road maps because I got some on my forearms. And 7. 1, 2, 3, and 8. 1, 2, 3, and 9. 1, 2, 3, and 10. Now we're going to set it down and we're going to start the clock again, and we're going to do this for 4 sets total, okay, guys? And that's how you're going to get that maximal peak on your biceps, okay? All right, guys and gals, this is the second exercise we're going to go into. It's going to be basically tricep dips. Some people call them bench dips, and some people just say, man, I hate these things. But whatever you want to call them, I'm going to show you how to do them effectively. As well, we're going to show you how to do some regressions. Regression simply means if it's too difficult, guess what? You can still do the motion, but not as difficult. And the progression means the complete opposite. We can make it more difficult to maximize your gains, okay? So again, guys, I got my phone in my hand just to make sure we're measuring our time in between. Based on your goal settings, it all depends on how long you're going to rest, okay? So here we go, guys. We're going to get into this bench right here. And so we're going to start off with just basic tricep dips. And again, remember, we're focusing on the negative, which is what, guys? The elongation of the muscle, okay? And I'm going to show you guys really some little tips and tricks on how to maximize your gains. Because it's one thing to perform the motion, and it's one thing to actually feel the motion. Some of the stuff I'm going to tell you is going to sound like this is ridiculous, it makes no sense. Some of my clients look at me like, what does that even mean? It's the same thing, or it doesn't even do anything. But when you actually do it, you're going to say, man, that guy Nate in Houston, he knows his stuff. Okay, so watch out, guys. Let me show y'all real quick. So we're going to first set up 2 benches right here, guys. This is just in case we need to progress it and make it more difficult, but we're going to start off with the basic dip. So I want you guys to have your hands right outside shoulder width apart. I don't have a clenched fist, nor am I squeezing onto the bench. I'm having an open palm, and we're pushing right through the middle of that. All you yogis out there, you'll understand what I'm talking about, and you'll respect that 100%. And if you don't know what a yogi is, it's actually a person who does yoga. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, now you know, okay? So what I'm going to first start off with a regular fashion dip. This is for those individuals for beginning, intermediate level that want to get the back of your arm. I will have a lot of clients who, especially female clients out there, they said, how do I get rid of my bat wings? Or some people call them, how do I get rid of my lunch lady arms? And I'm like, what's a lunch lady arm? And she goes, you know, at lunch when you're in high school and the lunch lady reaches over the table to get your tray and they get mashed potatoes all over the triceps. And I'm like, that's never happened to me. And they always tell me how they used to eat it afterwards. And I'm like, that's pretty gross. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have it right here, have your knees slightly bent, guys, preferably 90 degrees. Again, my palms are nice and open. I'm not squeezing the bench, keeping the core nice and tight. Now watch what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm gonna bend the elbows straight back for 4 seconds. And I'm gonna pause, and then I'm gonna press. Now mind you guys, I want you to understand something. This is the thing I was telling you about. When you're coming down for 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, I want you to think of all your energy and your thoughts on your triceps. What are your triceps? They're pretty much the back part of your muscle right here. You'll feel it almost directly right after doing the motion, okay? And I'm just not flexing just purposely, I'm just showing you, demonstrating, okay? So when we have it here, guys, we're gonna be right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm gonna breathe out as I push up. Nice and slow, guys. Now, the last, I'd say 10% of the motion should not be you extending your elbow, but as opposed to it should be you squeezing the tricep. And it's actually the same exact thing, but if you notice a difference when actually doing the motion, you're getting that mind-muscle connection, and that's what working out really is all about. Because a lot of times other muscle groups compensate. So again, to demonstrate this, I'll stop talking now and actually do it. We're gonna go here, we're gonna go for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, press. 1, 2, 3, 4, press. 1, 2, 3, 3, press. 1, 2, 3, 4, press. 1, 2, 3, 5, press. 1, 2, 3, 6, press. 1, 2, 3, 7, press. 1, 2, 3, 8, press. 1, 2, 3, 9, press. 1, 2, 3, 10, and press. Okay, guys, so that was basically a beginner's version of dips. I'm gonna get my phone out here, measure my time in between my sets, 60 seconds worth, okay? And what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna make it more progressed. So if that was too easy, guys, you're falling asleep, taking a nap while doing this, and you're like, Nate, this is nothing. I'd feel nothing out of this. Don't worry, I got something for you. So we put this other bench here just in case if we wanted to make it more difficult. And I always recommend 100%, guys, start off small and then go up big. How did you learn how to crawl? And then how did you learn how to walk? It was that order. We never learn how to walk, and then we don't regress by crawling, right? So what we're gonna do, now that I know that I can complete the motion on the beginning dip, I can feel comfortable enough to say I can elevate my feet. You have to remember, guys, anytime you can do something 3 sets of 12, it's a good indicator to add weight or make it more difficult. So remember, 3 sets of 12 is your magic number to add weight or make it more difficult, okay? I'm at the 57-second marker. Here we go. So now I'm gonna put my feet up here. Same concept, guys. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 8. 1, 2, 3, 9. 1, 2, 3, and 10. Good. So now that we did those, guys, and we're like, you know what, Nate, that's still easy. You're boring me. I'm falling asleep. I got something else for you, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab this here plate. Now some people, it's just very difficult. They find themselves, how do I put this plate on my thigh if I'm by myself? And this is one thing I'm gonna show you guys. If you take anything out of this video, remember this, okay? Because this is very difficult to do on your own. Unless you have a spotter doing it, I would recommend having a spotter put it on you. And also make sure you feel confident enough to do this, okay? So, looking at the clock, I'm at 30 seconds. I'm gonna get situated. Takes a little longer. I'm sitting in a position where my knees are bent. This is on top of my lap, okay? What I'm gonna do is put my hands in the position. I'm gonna basically crawl up there, like so, and now I'm set. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice my hands, guys, are nice and loose. I can wiggle my fingers. I'm not squeezing my hands at all. We want to try to deactivate that grip on those hands to just focus all that blood flow going to the tricep, okay? Keep that same tempo going. Breathe in on the way down. One more. And breathe out. Good. When you're done with it, guys, we're going to tiptoe back in that position. And there you have it, guys. That's a great effective way to not only regress or progress your tricep dips, okay? And get you that nice horseshoe. Again, guys, we're going to do 4 sets of 10, depending on your goal that you have in mind. We're going to rest anywhere from 45 seconds to 60 seconds, okay? And we're going to do those again based on your strength and your level, either with your feet propped up, with your legs bent down, or with the feet propped up and your bench. And hey, if you want to have fun with it, blindfold yourself. I don't care, okay? Here we go, guys, on to the next exercise. And the next exercise, guys, are basically concentration curls, okay? They're single arm curls, and I'm gonna show you how to do them, okay? Now, mind you, I'm walking over here, guys, to the 150s. Got my chest up like I own the place, right? Do not be that guy that grabs a heavy weight, that strains themselves, soils themselves, trying to lift the weight to impress everyone else. We don't care about that, guys. We focus on form, technique, and building the muscle, okay? So we're gonna go fairly light because, again, anytime you're going 4 seconds on the elongation, which is what? A negative, we're gonna increase or decrease the load because it's a lot more difficult, because it's more time under tension, okay? So I'm probably gonna grab something a little bit lighter, probably 25s. Don't laugh at me at home, guys. I know what you're thinking. And we're gonna be right here. Now, the benefit behind these concentration curls, guys, is that it allows you to supinate your arm quite a bit. Notice my arm as I do this and I supinate it. Again, a bowl of soup. What happens to my bicep? It actually flexes, okay? I actually learned that one day when I was mirroring myself in the mirror for hours, and my girlfriend was like, "What are you doing?" I'm just joking. But in reality, that's what we want to do, and this muscle or this exercise actually allows you to do that. So I'm going to be on the side of the bench, legs nice and wide. And guys, remember this. Anytime you're alternating arms or legs, doing something one at a time, I strongly recommend doing the weak side first. Reason being is this. If you have a weak side that you can only get 10 times, you know in the back of your head, guaranteed on your strong side, you can get 10 times. Now imagine this. Imagine if I start on my right side, which is my strong side, and I get 12 times, and my left side can only get 8. Now I'm no longer even. Even if I put the 8 down and complete the 4, now I've broken the set. So if you have a strong side, which all of us do, or most of us do, I'd recommend starting with the smaller or the weaker side, okay guys? So on this case, the left side is my weak side. I'm gonna start with this one. So we're gonna have it here, arm pronated out, supinated out. We're gonna come up with it, and notice my grip on my hands, guys. I'm not squeezing the dumbbell with all my might. In fact, I kinda have a loose grip on it, okay? That's what we have. So again, I'm gonna come all the way down, especially with biceps, guys, you wanna elongate the muscle all the way, okay? And I'm gonna come up, 1, come down slow, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Squeeze, 2, 3, and 2. Squeeze, 1, 2, 3, and 3. Notice, guys, on the negative, I'm coming down nice and smooth. I'm not coming down in steps. I see that time and time again. I've been training for about 8 years now in a gym, and I see that happening often. We want to always make sure the negative portion is one smooth motion. 2, 3, and 7, I believe. 2, 3, and 8. 2, 3, and 9. 2, 3, and 10. Now guys, I'm not gonna rest in between because I still gotta get the other arm, okay? So get your phone away, let's get the other side, okay? Bring it up, 1, 2, 3, and 1. 2, 3, and 2. 2, 3, and 3. 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 5. 2, 3, and 6. 2, 3, and 7. 2, 3, and 8. 2, 3, and 9. 2, 3, and 10. Now guys, remember the rest time. We're doing a minute in between our sets, okay? Because we're trying to get our massive gains in our biceps. But we did one arm at a time. So what I recommend doing is resting about 40 seconds after you complete your last set, because while you were doing your right arm, guess what your left arm was doing? It was chilling. It was like, hey man, I'm feeling good. But we don't want to rest too long, so that's why I recommend 40 seconds. It's just the appropriate amount of time to get that ATP level back to par, but also not rest too long. Don't be that guy that's talking to so-and-so at the gym and hanging out, and before you know it, your clock's at 3 minutes. Do not be that person, because I promise you, people will laugh at you. We're gonna get this 4 sets of 10 with a 4-second count on the way down, all right? So now on to the next exercise. So I'm gonna show you the 4th exercise. If you notice I'm feeling kind of pumped, feeling kind of winded, it's a great workout, okay? Now the 4th exercise we're gonna do, basically I call it a rope tricep push down. Some people call it rope pull down. It doesn't really matter what you call it. If you wanna call it a string push down, as long as you know what it is and you can communicate it and actually execute it, you can call it whatever you wanna call it, okay guys? Here we go. For the sake of this video, we're gonna call it rope tricep push downs, okay? So we're gonna go over here, we're gonna go to a cable machine, okay? And what do you know? It's a rope. Who would have thought? And we're gonna bring it over here. Don't slam down the weight, guys. Nobody likes those people who slam stuff down, okay? You're not impressing anybody, I promise you. You're only gonna anger some people. Okay. And again, we're not focused on how much we're lifting, guys. We're not trying to be barbarians or anything like that. We're focusing on form, technique, and the squeeze, okay? 3 things: form, technique, squeeze. Most people don't know what a squeeze is. How do I squeeze the muscle? I'll show you. If I do this motion here, and I just push it down, as you can see, my tricep gets flexed. But if I do it slowly, look at the difference, guys. When you do things a lot slower and squeeze into it, it's gonna be a lot more effective. I want you to think of this, guys. Imagine yourself driving in a car with no seatbelt going 100 miles an hour, and your car hits a brick wall. What happens to it? Well, the car stops, but what happens to your body? Goes through the window. Think of that technique or that theory when it comes to muscle building. We want to slowly get into it, because if not, that momentum's going to go straight to your joints. And again, we want to avoid injury to get massive gains and also sustainable gains, okay? So, I'm a pretty weak guy, so I'm going to start off with about 60 pounds. And here's what we want to do, guys. We want to have it, I always call this a vertical grip, what we start off with. And then at the very end of the motion, we want to have a horizontal grip. Horizontal meaning horizontal to the ground. So the ropes are currently vertical to the floor. They're going to finish up horizontal to the floor, okay? That's a great way to do it. Do you have to do the horizontal vertical? You don't have to do it, because again, to get tricep extension and flexion, it's just this motion. But, like I said earlier, if we can maximize our gains, every little tweak counts, okay? So right here, I'm going to have it here. I personally like to stick my glutes out a little bit. You don't have to though. You got to shake what your mom gave you, right? And what we're going to do, the main thing we want to look at is your elbow being right here and then coming down. I'll give you an example of what not to do. Most people, or some people per se, they come all the way back here. There's an angle of the cable. With that cable being at an angle, it's very difficult for me to keep my arms in place, because it's at an angle, it's going to pull me forward. Now it's going to activate more lats, okay? So we want to be as close to this as possible. Remember, when you're as close to this as possible, make sure this is locked in place. We don't want to be close to this, not locked in place, and it hits you on the head. We don't want that at all. You'll probably feel that burn for quite some time, okay? So, I'm going to have it here, chest up in the air. The important thing you want to do is keep your elbows stagnant or in place. I always tell clients, pretend you got a rod going through your body, and your rod doesn't allow you to move your elbow forward or backward, okay? I'm a very creative, imaginary guy, and so therefore I use a lot of examples, okay? So we're going to be right here, stick your glutes out, chest is up, core is tight. We're going to come down, we're going to squeeze into it. Notice my grip, now it's horizontal to the ground. I'm going to come up, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6. Now remember, guys, that last 10% motion is not me straightening out my arm, it's me flexing the tricep. It's a huge difference when you straighten out your arm as opposed to flexing your tricep. 2, 3, 7. I might be off by 1, guys. It's hard to talk and count at the same time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Again, guys, we're going to grab our phone. Not to text anyone, not to tweet anybody, but we want to measure 60 seconds on the phone. So remember, guys, we're going to do 4 sets of 10 with 4 seconds on the negative, or aka the elongation or eccentric portion of the muscle. Once again, guys, this is Nate with sixpackshortcuts.com. Stay tuned for next week when we talk about your 3 muscle groups that a lot of us guys, we don't pay attention to: forearms, traps, and your calves. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at illuminate_fitness. Thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you next time.